get started. So let's see here. Audio not, yes, yes, I've run an ad all the time. Good. Have. Audio not good. Let me know. Boosted a post. Loud and clear. Awesome. And here's a great one from Kim. Run ads but not successfully. Okay. I've had for buyers once. Want to run for sellers. Okay, great. So let's go. Let's, there are some reasons. We'll get into the end of this call about the things that kind of trip people up. Okay. Um, but what I want to get into first is I want to get into the strategy of how to make Facebook work. Because I think a lot of you, there are a lot of companies that have landing pages, right, for property valuation. There's us, there's Curator, there's Home Buyer, there's Prime Sellers. And the thing that I find is that while they are similar, and I do believe that ours actually work better because of the way we design them, the actual technique of how to get them out there is really where a lot of companies, fail, and they don't really get into this. And what you want to do, because in the end, for you as a realtor, you got to invest in that, right? You got to invest your time to learn it, and you've also got to invest your own money on a budget on Facebook to get the results out of it. So what we're going to talk about here is the strategy that we are really confident of, and that we have our clients replicating, and we want you to pick this up. There is, when you log in, a little pop-up page, and there's a call here with Shannon Pyatt, and Shannon has now been with us for a year and a half, and he learned what we were teaching before that, and we have him on this call because he generated like 900 leads with us, right? And he generates hundreds every month with us, and this was 900 is a while ago, right? So, but a repeat of what I'm talking about from the perspective of an agent inside of their account can be seen by watching Shannon Pyatt. But I am going to walk you through it, so I want you to but I just want you to know that's a really good resource, especially if you're new to us. Over here is also a Facebook advertising button, and this is important too, because right down here it shows you how to create those kinds of landing pages that you're going to need out there. And then right here on number 2, it shows you how to actually run the ad. Now I'm actually going to show you how to run the ad. We're going to run the ad probably twice. And we're also I'm going to show you how to create a page. Okay, so we're going to see all that together, but you might get distracted, and I just want you to know that all this information is under this green Facebook advertising button. So another important piece is right here. If you haven't joined our page yet, please click the Join the Listings to Leads Mastermind group. If you don't know this about us, we add a new tool, I'd say almost every 2 weeks. And this is where we communicate that to our clients the fastest. If you get on a call with us like you are today, well, we'll talk about the latest tools. But today we're just talking about Facebook. But a lot of our clients come here and they talk about how they're using our tools, and they're going to show us their ads. And so we really recommend that you spend a few minutes every week seeing what's new and seeing the other great ideas that agents are using. Okay. So before I jump into the Facebook strategy, I see a couple more. Yes, I've run an ad. Okay, good, good. I appreciate all the feedback, everybody. So let's talk about what is the Facebook strategy. Okay. First of all, while I know everybody wants sellers, and that's a great part of your business, you need to advertise for buyers to get sellers. Okay, and now let me explain it to you this way. Facebook is a place where 71% of adults are on right now in the United States, okay? Not teenagers, but adults. This is why it's so important for you to have a solid Facebook strategy. So, when we talk about property valuation pages, right? And that's like the thing that everybody is like, I need that. I'm hearing that agents this is like awesome. I need that, right? And let me just point out what a property valuation page looks like, okay? It looks like this. It's very simple, right? Get your home value, and we'll get into this. But that's where there are a lot of companies that have that. And they'll teach you, copy and put this on Facebook and drive it here, and then boom, it's awesome, right? And that is awesome. And I think for some of you, you're brand new to us, and that's, you just boom, 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 figure that out, you do it yourself. I am going to walk you through it. But if you want this to be explosive and change your business, then you need to think about Facebook as the place to target, right? As the place to build your brand and to build your business. In the past, that might have been a phone book. That might have been a magazine. It might have been, a bus stop. There's all kinds of places where people put money, right? Agents still toss a lot of money at Zillow and Trulia, and if that works for you, awesome. But I know I got a lot of people calling me saying that's not working for them. And so if you take that money and you put it in a really solid strategy on Facebook to build your brand and to get listing leads and buyer leads, I think you're going to find it to be really, really beneficial. Okay, so I'll tell you this, and then we'll jump into it. The Shannon Pyatt call and the Neil Wolf call, which is at the top of that page when you log in, and the Melanie Banks call, if you ever find that, which it's buried on the Facebook page. All these agents use these things, and many of our agents do. They follow our instruction. And what I love to hear from all of those people is that people out of the blue call them, right? It's not even lead generation anymore. It's people saying, I see you all over Facebook. I know you're a realtor. I want you to sell my home. That's what advertising is about, right? That, I know a realtor used to spend, I don't know, $10,000 a month on a bus, the side of a bus that was driving through town. And that was like a moneymaker, right? But I don't know if that's a moneymaker anymore, but I can tell you 71% of your market is on this Facebook system. So how do you get your branding out there? First of all, it really helps if you have listings. I know many of you are signing up to get listings. You don't have listings, but it still helps, and that means you can even borrow listings, right? You can go to your team, you can go to your office, say, can I just go market some of your listings for new buyers, right? And at that point, those listings will be here on this listings page, okay? And then when we get to this point, you want to market 2 of these tools, okay? And so what we're talking about here is branding, and there's a couple of things. If you look at this first column, there's some red initials, and this AC stands for active contingent. Active, JS is just sold, coming soon. And when you click on a single property website, and a single property website is the red button with the white house, you will see that it says coming soon, right? And I've got all kinds of ways to capture leads here. This is auto-generated from listings leads. I could follow this home and get an email, or I could schedule a showing, or I could find out what my home is worth, or I could look at other homes in the area, and that's going to drive to your website, and that'd be cool. So this is a single property website. It is one of the key tools to build your brand on Facebook. Okay, just copy it, and I'll show you what to do with it in a minute, but use that. Now over here on the right hand side is a listing landing page, okay? And a listing landing page has a totally different look, but you got to imagine when you're building a brand in any system, even in a print magazine, you can't do the same thing over and over. So here you can market the same house with just a totally different look, okay? So here, when I fill this out, and this landing page, like all landing pages, it's got one goal. Let's get some contact information so we can grow our business. When you click get information, at this point, me as the agent, I get a lead, right? Over here, I don't know if you can see it pop up. I also get an auto response from you, the agent, saying, hey, I see you're interested in this home. Let me know if you'd like to see others and stuff. But you start to act on that lead, right? You can tell, oh, this person's looking at a 5-bedroom home in Naples. Well, maybe I should put them on, the MLS and get them any new ones. And so that's kind of the thing. There are 2 tools. The single property website, which is the red button in the white house, and the listing landing page. And I'm going to show you, you get those tools out on Facebook, and that's how thousands of people will see this. So the next thing, I see some questions coming. If you got questions right now, put them in the chat panel, because the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to get one of these tools on Facebook and actually run an ad. So right now, if you got questions, put it in the chat panel. I'm going to answer them now, and then I'm going to take a breath, and then I'm going to move on. So, sellers are buyers first. Yes, that's right. Sellers are buyers first. Yeah, and would like to know how much money to spend on Facebook. Great question, Ellen, and I am going to address that right now. I'm gonna address that one high level right now. Okay. I think the number where I see our clients fall or land over time is around 300 to 400 bucks a month on Facebook. If you're brand new to Facebook, you won't want to, I don't want you to spend that like right off the bat. I want you to understand how Facebook works first, okay? But some of these things, you can get close really quickly. But and another thing about it, a lot of agents like you're building your business in 4 or 5 different towns, right? And so you come to Listings to Leads and you realize, oh, all my landing pages are unlimited. I can have a landing page for every town. Well, I'm going to knock all those out and I'm going to put them on Facebook and I'm going to blow 400 bucks right now. And it's not going to work for me, right? And the reason is you got to learn how to do this correctly. And once you learn how to do it correctly, then you can scale it up. Then you can go into multiple towns because you're getting the ROI on the first one. And now you can say, now I can put more investment in here and I can do it in other areas, and that starts to work for you. So those top clients, if you see the Shannon Pyatt call, you will see that sometimes he spends 500 a month. Neil Wolf, sometimes I spend 400, 500. But normally it's around 300. Sometimes I get so many leads I have to spend less, but I just keep spending a little bit. An interesting thing about Facebook is the more you spend consistently, the better pay-per-click rates you get. Okay, and that's an important point, because if you're brand new to this, you might be paying 50 to 75 cents a click. Okay, is this session being recorded? It is being recorded. Yeah. So how do I change the status? That's a good question there. So let's get into that one. If you click the first button here next to any listing, it says edit. And right here it says active. I'm going to just change it to just sold. Okay. And I'm going to save it at the bottom. And it will take me back to that listing. And I can then market it as just sold. Right? Up on the top right it says just sold. Also, my listing landing page says just sold. And just sold advertising is really important stuff, right? So since we're here and I just changed this to just sold, let's run this ad. And notice that I got an automatic pop-up to capture a lead right off the bat. And I got information over here to click on links. If I don't want this particular home, I can get over, to see other homes on your website. So let's now take this single property website, and I want to remind you that we either want you to run ads on listing landing pages or single property websites, and I want you to put them over on Facebook, and that we're going to build a brand with. So let's do that. First of all, let's copy the web address at the top, and then let's go over to you see I was here earlier. Let me just go to Facebook. And let me turn off my little ad manager blocker here. This is a thing that I use to block ads on the internet. So you need a business page to do this, okay? And up here on the right, it's like it's a little navigation bar for Facebook, and you're looking for the last little upside down triangle pointing down. Click that and click create ads. Okay, and when you click create ads, Facebook spins around and drops you into their ad manager. Okay, and what your strategy here is, your objective is to send people to your website. Now don't get confused, we're not sending it to your agent website, we're sending it to our landing page or to our single property website, which is designed to capture leads for you. So you paste it in there and you click the blue thing and it pushes it up there. Now, first thing, Facebook Pixels pops up. Ignore it. Unless you're super tech savvy and you know what this is, it is not critical for you to generate leads. Just the way I'm doing it right now will get you success. Click set and add budget. Now remember, one of those great questions was how much should I spend? And I said, well, maybe $300 or $400 a month. Not immediately, especially if you're new. But in this case, you don't want to spend $300 or $400 on this one ad because you're going to have a bunch of little ads, right? So here's how we do it. First of all, type in this box. It says United States, but it says include I'm going to type in the zip code 94549 Lafayette, right? Because my home is in Lafayette. Okay, so that says everyone inside Lafayette is going to be there, right? Or is going to see this. So they don't have to be friends with you. They don't have to like your page or your business page. They don't even have to know you exist. They just have to live in Lafayette, and they're going to see this. But because this is a single property website, I might want more people to see that. They don't have to live in Lafayette to see that I have it just sold, because I want everybody to know that I can sell properties. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to take out exclude. I'm going to delete this, and instead I'm going to type in the word Lafayette, because it acts kind of differently. You see this map here? This shows you everybody's going to see it. And actually, I want to change this to a 10-mile radius. And hopefully that works for you where you live, right? Because for me, I want people who live in Walnut Creek to know that I'm selling properties in Lafayette. I want people in Danville and Orinda and all the little towns around me, because I would actually build my business there. So because I'm trying to get people to know I'm a realtor, I'm going to do that. I think 10 miles out of Lafayette is great. The other key thing, I don't want 18-year-olds looking at this. I'm going to say you got to be, I don't know, minimum 28. You might have a different number in your area, but that's it. So over here, you'll start to see a potential reach, right? Now, that's potential. It doesn't mean 180,000 people are going to see this ad, but it does mean that that's how many people kind of live in that area, okay? Now, you could get fancy and use some detailed targeting. I don't really recommend it. I don't know enough about it, and most of our clients don't. Some of our clients do know a lot about this, and they can do a lot of fancy stuff and get great leads, but most of our clients get leads just the way I'm talking about right now, okay? Now, you see it's got a daily budget of 20 bucks. I'm going to set this as my lifetime budget, but here's the thing. If I do lifetime, it says, oh, 20 bucks, but the total is 350. That is not what you want to do. This ad is going to start today, but it's also ending in a month. So I want to change that end date to ending this weekend. All right, so it'll start today. I want it to end on Saturday. And just to say it's just sold, right? And when I do that and I click, that it kind of does its thing here, and it changes the math. Let's see here. Oh, well, now we got to do this. So I'm going to say I want to do it 20 bucks, lifetime budget. And that says great. And I don't know if you could see that change, but over here on the right, it dropped the daily reach down to like 1,700, maximum 5,000 people. So since this ad's going to run for about 4 days, I could actually get thousands of people to see this and see that, whoa, I just sold a home, right? In all these areas where I want to build my business. That's the key to this whole thing. It's using that budget, set it at a lifetime budget, but set your days for 3 or 4 or 5 days. Same thing if you're doing an open house. You want people 10 miles around you to see it. Run that ad for 3 or 4 or 5 days. You got a home that's coming soon. You want people to see that. This is where thousands of people are going to see it for 20 bucks a day. So you can see that just with one listing, you can market the same home differently. I'm going to do it coming soon, then just listed, then open house, then maybe I do it price reduced or under contract, and then just sold. And to get all of those statuses, all you got to do is click the edit listing button right here and either put your open house here or set your status right here, okay? And that's really super, super important to because I don't know how you're letting agents or the consumers in your market know that you're a realtor, right? Where do you think they are finding this out? Are they finding it out on Zillow? Are there thousands of people seeing you on Zillow? Or are they seeing you on YouTube or wherever you think they're seeing you? I don't know. But I know that for 20 bucks, thousands of people are going to see your ad. So let's go down here to the bottom and click create. It says like create the ad, create the creative part, right? And again, I want to kind of just ask you to focus on what I'm saying, because Facebook like listings to leads, we throw a lot of stuff up there, right? And you don't need to do all this to succeed. And you got to find out, what do I actually need to do to get some results? And what you got to do is look right here, and let's talk about what gets those results. Up here, you can add multiple photos, you can put a video, you can do all kinds of fun stuff, but you don't need to. What you need to do is you need to look at what's going on right here in this section, okay? And what's going on here is it says the address, 9 Delray Court, and it says up-to-date photos, maps, and blah, 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 right? And that's cool, but it's pretty generic. So there's probably something interesting about this home that you want to tell the market, okay? And you might want to say it's got a newly upgraded kitchen, and in a great neighborhood, great neighborhood and schools, or whatever it is about, is the selling point of this home. What's going to get people to click, right? You got to put a couple minutes to think of that, right? Now, if there's really something compelling, like where you want some more language, because you can only put a few things, you can only put a few characters in here. There is a button down here that says advanced options. It'll take 200 more characters, right? 200 more letters. So if you got really a story to say, you could put it right there, right? And when you do that, whatever you type here will show up underneath the address here. You don't necessarily need the address right there. I might change that, right? And just say, whatever you want to say there. But I want to point out a couple of things here. In this section, right up on top, this is actually what the ad's going to look like, okay? And it says sponsored by Listings to Leads, but that's because I work for Listings to Leads. For you, it's going to be sponsored by your realty business page. And that's the whole point of building that brand. That's why I'm saying thousands of people are going to see that you're a realtor, right? That's what we're after. We want thousands of people to get familiar with your realtor, because later on, you're going to run some ads that say, great, now that you know I'm a realtor, get your home value from me, okay? And that's where a lot of people really want those listings. And so this is how you get those listings. You let people know first you're in the business, you're a professional, right? So let's talk a little bit more about the detail. And one of those questions was like, I'm doing this, but I'm not getting any leads. And what you got to think about is this language right here. There's two things that usually affect if your ad actually works. One is the picture. Is that picture nice, or is it sort of okay? Because I'll tell you, if it really pops, it stops people. The best pictures, and we hear this from all agents, the best pictures actually make the difference, okay? Now, the other thing is the language right? Is it compelling to get me to click on that right now? Or is it just some fluff because I didn't take 5 seconds to put some thought into it? That's it, right? Now, down here, or up here, what I want to point out, it says desktop news feed. So I want you to know what that means. This section right here in the center of this page is the desktop news feed. So when you run an ad, it's going to be right here in the center. Over here on the right is a right-hand column. And when we go back to the ads manager, it says desktop right column. I don't actually recommend having ads on the right column, because most people are just trained to look right here in the center, okay? So on this section, I'm going to remove it, okay? Now mobile is hot, right? Mobile is super hot, and you know that a lot of people look on Facebook on their smartphones. So when I'm actually putting an ad out like this, where I really want people to see that I'm a realtor, I'm going to leave that as mobile, right? Audience network, I don't know. Instagram, I'm interested in learning more about Instagram. I want to see if it really generates leads. And you should be interested to know if it really generates leads. And so test it with Instagram and test it without. Test it with the audience network, test it without. And that's it. You place the order, and at the end of your order, meaning if it's 4 days long, Facebook is going to send you the analytics, and they're going to say thousands of people saw this, and maybe dozens of people clicked on the ad, and then you'll know from us that you got leads because we automatically send those leads to you. Okay, so that's how we run an ad So I see some questions, so now is another good time to add questions. How do I change the status? We talked about that. I did a second open house, couldn't get the landing page to market the second time. I couldn't get, I don't know exactly. I did a second open house. So I don't know, Deborah, what that means. You can email me at vince@listingstoleads.com and I can look at what that is. I don't actually know what that question means. So what we've talked about here is how to build your brand. So let's just remember, take a few seconds, get a good photo, choose some language that's going to get people to click. Think a little bit about, does it need to be on the desktop right column? Does it need to be in mobile? And then of course set the budget and set the target audience. That's it, right? That's key. You're targeting your areas, maybe 10 miles out, and you do it, okay? So I'm going to close this, and I am going to go back to listings to leads, and I'm going to kind of refresh what I've been saying. In order to get maximum results from Facebook advertising, you need to build a brand. You need to tell people, I am associated with homes being sold, under contract, open houses, and just solds, right? Coming soon, if I can. Even if they're not even mine, I want them in my account, and I'm going to run ads just the way we're doing right here, right? So does everybody see, like here where we get the tools? Notice here are the different statuses in the left. Remember, you click the edit button to change the status, and then you click over here and you start marketing single property websites or listing landing pages, and if you want to get fancy, do a virtual tour. That's it, because all those tools are designed to capture leads for you and to build a brand for you, and you're doing that for, like, you know, 20 bucks at a time, right, for 4 days. And that's just a great way for thousands of people to see it. They start clicking, you start getting buyers. That's what you got to do. Then, or at the same time, you also got to think, but I want listings, right? So let's go to the landing page section and let's talk about doing that, right? So you'll notice that there's 4 columns, and we got dark blue buttons and we got light blue ones. The light blue ones were when we started the company. These are kind of our core stuff. But the latest mobile responsive and our latest landing pages are always in this format. And if you hover over it, you can see what they actually look like, okay? So there are some for growing families. There are some to get homes sold nearby you. There's some for empty nesters. And then there's one for a custom free report, you know, and if you want to give them a report but they need to give you information, that you kind of do that kind of thing. So I want you to know a couple things here. When this button has the word plus on it, it has a Zillow API, a Zillow estimate in the back page. And that can be great for people who want instant information and are willing to give you contact information for that. So we really recommend it. Our clients love it. But if you just absolutely hate Zillow and you want nothing to do with that estimate, well, now you can also just use property valuation. And that gives them an instant thank you very much. I will contact you and help you, right? It's a different kind of conversion, but you still get a lead. Over here, property valuation plus one means it's got a Zillow valuation, but all the questions are on one page right up front. And a lot of realtors like this idea because what the key is it asks for the email first. But a lot of consumers don't like that because they don't want to give you their email. Property Valuation Plus, however, is designed to coax that consumer to see what it is and then say, oh, we have your number. Please give us your contact information for us to send it to you. Okay? So I think that the Property Valuation Plus is actually the best. There's also another key feature. It's called the partial to full lead converter. And while this might sound like an upsell to you, I actually really recommend it. We use Cole Information as a plugin. So for an additional 30 bucks, anytime you get a partial lead, which means just an address, which would happen with Property Valuation Plus, our system will automatically get the contact information from Cole Information and give it to you. Okay? And to think of it this way, Property Valuation Plus, I'm going to click on it real quick. and I'm going to go to my Lafayette landing page. This is what happens when you run this ad. It says, what is your, get your, what you want your home value in less than 15 seconds? Great. Put your address here. So I'm going to show you how to get this on Facebook in a second, but I want you just to understand what happens. We put it in, the consumer puts their address in, and then where we drop them is we say, there is a picture of your house on the right. Is this information on the left correct? And you say, yeah, it is. And that's part of the buy-in. It says, great, we have your valuation. What's your contact info? So the consumer cannot get the valuation until they give you the contact information. And then they got to also say, I'm thinking about selling, or something like that. And that's how they actually get it. But you can probably imagine a lot of people don't want to give you their contact information. I don't know if you can see it. There's an asterisk on the email, so they have to give you the email. They don't have to give you the phone number. I'd say somewhere from 80 to 90% of consumers will walk away from this page when you ask them for an email address. So all you get is a address, and that is called a partial lead. And for many agents, they're like, oh, I can go look in the tax records and I can find out who owns that home, and I'll start there. But for many agents, they like the cold information, because even if I walk away at this point, the cold information will give me the contact information. 60% to 70% of the time, you get the phone and or email. So, I think it's great, but you can do it however you want to do it. But on average, I'd say 80 to 90% of people will walk away from this page without giving you contact information, right? And then if we go back to the landing page dashboard, let's look at property valuation plus one. Let's just look at it this way. Notice I have to give you everything, including my email address, before I can see anything. So it's a little more difficult. And so you get fewer leads, far fewer leads with this page. But we make it because we've got all kinds of different agents, and you use what works best for you. If you don't understand how these pages work, fill them out. You will see it in less than a minute. Can we use in a small... Okay, I did it. Okay. Can we use resource to plug in an email from another source? Craig, no, you can't. I don't know. There isn't like an interface when you sign up for Cole information where you can actually do a search. It's just it's integrated with the lead that we generate, and so when that lead comes in, our system will go out and do a scrub on that software, on that resource of Cole information, and we'll send it to you. So I'm going to go to landing pages, and because this is how you got to start, okay? So if you need to build you want landing pages in a particular area, and usually you've got 4 or 5 areas, right, that you want to build your business with. Pick one. I'm going to type in Sacramento. Okay, it's up here in California. All you got to do is type in the name of the town, spell it correctly, and capitalize it correctly because it flows right into tools, and click save. And once you click save, it'll give you a little message in a couple seconds. It creates a Sacramento page under every one of these buttons. So more than 25 different landing pages are created by clicking one button. Okay, I got one for FSBOs, for expireds. I got one for condos, HUD homes, apartments for rent, empty nesters, blah, 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 right? And I got one for property valuation plus. Now, what I want you to recognize and to know, and this is super key to being successful, is that I'm going to click here to see the landing page. You need to change this background picture from this super cool generic picture that we give you by default. And here's the thing about running ads on Facebook. It's the thing about, but specifically on Facebook, but I think with all online lead generation, in the end, you're asking for their contact information. And nobody wants to give you contact information. I'm pretty sure you don't like giving contact information to everyone on the internet, right? So, since that's what the goal is, you need to make this page a little more comfortable, and it needs to look like Sacramento, right? So, you need to think of where you are, right? And what, and let's see here. I'm going to click if I can get backwards on this page. Yeah, this is Lafayette, right? And in my town, this is where I live. This is the Lafayette Reservoir, and there's a little trail around this lake, right? It's like 2.5 miles. Everybody does their jogging, they walk their dogs there, they put their kids in their strollers there, and they do whatever, right? All the time. So if you live in Lafayette, this is very important. You know this, right? For you, in your target markets, there is a similar place. It might be a downtown street, it might be a school, it might be a famous restaurant, it might be a bridge. I have no idea. It might be all of those, and you run ads in different ways so that it's fresh because you don't know what's going to resonate with everybody, right? That's a very number one important part. So before you run that ad, instead of just seeing the landing page and running it, click Edit Landing Page and go down here and click Landing Page Image and choose a file, okay? And have a picture of your little target market right there and upload it. The other thing I recommend you doing is change this where it says get your answer here, change it to get your answer in less than 15 seconds. It's just another way to reinforce to get that consumer to fill out that form. Ignore the rest of the stuff. I know a lot of you realtors are not going to be able to do that. You got to read everything and then you're going to just get stuck there for an hour or two. Ignore it. Save that change, and then when you click view, it's going to show the picture of Sacramento, and it's going to say, what is your Sacramento home worth now? Get your answer in less than 15 seconds. Okay? So now that we got that, we're going to run an ad in a minute, but this is a good time to take some questions. Someone mentioned in the FB matrix that to just input the email address on one of your landing pages and you may get the remainder of the info. I don't know what that means. So, okay, I'm concerning coal information. Ah, okay, okay. Oh, so this is related to somebody's question earlier, I think, which is Craig asked, yes, Craig said, can we use coal resources to plug in an email address from another source? So what Derek is saying is, yes, somebody said that on our mastermind group, that you can actually go to this page, let me close this, and drop in the email address right here, and if you're paying for coal information, it'll actually give you the contact information, which is cool. I never heard that, and that means I'm not spending enough time in my mastermind group, but you know, that's kind of how it is. So let's talk about getting the page up there, and I'm going to go back to my Lafayette page, and this is why. Earlier we ran an ad that said, here's a home for sale in Lafayette. So if you're going to run those kinds of ads, you definitely want to run an ad in Lafayette that says, now, what is your home worth, right? So we get that page ready, we change the background picture, we said we're going to get that answer in 15 seconds. What do? We copy the page. We copy the link at the top. So I'm copying, and I'm going to go back to Ad Manager, and I'm going to send people to my website. You kind of remember this, but there's a slight trick in this, slight difference. Got to click on the blue link here, so I want you to see it. Again, ignore Facebook pixels for now. Set and add the audience budget. Okay? Now, the first thing is, when you're running this, do it by the zip code. Just type in the zip code, it'll show you the city, and this is really important because now only the people living in Lafayette are going to see what is your Lafayette page worth, your home worth, right? I don't want people in Danville to see what is your Lafayette home worth because it doesn't mean anything to them. If they click on it, it's a waste of my money. They'll still get the answer, but they may be confused. It's like, well, I wonder if I can get my answer. Well, it only says Lafayette, so I'm going to walk away. So just have it so it's just here. I don't know if you can see it on the map. You have to live in Lafayette to see this ad. Now, for me, owning a home in Lafayette is a little bit of a pricey deal, so I'm going to say you've got to be 28 years old. And notice it's 11,000 people. Do not be scared of that. That is a good number. And that's about right, because there's about 23,000 people that live in Lafayette, and a bunch of them, you know, who knows how old they are. So that's a really good number. Now, the most important thing is what's your budget? And I'm going to say I want to set my daily budget. Again, change it to lifetime. I'm going to change it to 60 bucks. And I'm only going to run this ad. First of all, I'm going to start it at a different date. I'm going to start it on Friday. And I'm going to end it on Sunday. Okay? And here's why. This page, you saw me go through it. It's actually asking me to think and type, right? So when we're running something that says, hey, I've got homes for sale and I got an open house and something just sold, well, at that point, I'm trying to get people just to see and recognize I'm a realtor, right? And that's a totally different thing. I can do that on a smartphone. And our pages, this page here, is optimized for mobile, right? So you may not want to have that on mobile, but you definitely want to run it on the weekends, because on the weekends I've got more time. I am not in my car. I am not standing in line at Starbucks. I am not on a conference call floating through my phone, right? I got some time. I'm sitting around and I will fill out that form. So I think that running ads for property valuation leads is better to do on the weekend, okay? You can test it. For some people, it works better in during the week. You got to test it. Everything is different across the country. Minimum budget requires 100. Oh, I see. So here's the thing. When I started it, and when I put the end date, it always puts you out 30 days. And I just want this to run for a few days. Notice 60 bucks. Lifetime budget 60 bucks. I'm only going to spend 60 bucks. And my potential reach is going to be somewhere around 2,300 people. So a couple thousand people are going to see my ad that I can get you a home value. Okay, I want you to know the difference of what this is between that last ad we ran and this one. Is this one I'm saying 20 bucks a day, or whatever. Make it a lifetime budget 60 bucks, because I want more people to click on it and get to that. The other page, which is for the buyers, I put it at 5 bucks a day, or maximum 20 bucks for a 4-day budget, because I don't necessarily need as many people to click on it, but I do need them to see that I'm a realtor. So that's how you manage that budget and the pay-per-click and stuff like that. Then choose ad creative. And there are a lot of great ideas about this. Again, this is one of those areas where it drops you on a page where agents just lose their marbles because they don't know what to do here. You know what to do here? Scroll down. Ignore that stuff on the top. What you need to focus on is right here on the right-hand side. It's going to show you the background picture, and that's why choosing a picture is really important. This is what the ad's going to look like. Please note, again, it's sponsored by Listings to Leads, but it's going to be sponsored by you, the realtor. Okay? Then it says Lafayette home values. That's okay. Find out your home value in Lafayette now. Okay. I think, again, there are a couple of, and the mastermind group has some great ideas on this. I'm going to change it from now to in less than 15 seconds. I'll talk to you, I'll speak a little bit about this. And I'm going to say get your Lafayette home, get your automated online home valuation in less than 15 seconds. Okay. There's a reason why I say this. A lot of our clients take the time just to do this simple thing. And it doesn't, and when you're thinking about online lead generation, really what you're trying to do is you're trying to get somebody's contact information, and they do not want to give it to you, right? Just approach this knowing that, right? And then think, well, how am I going to get them to do that? One thing is to say it's automated and online, because it takes away that fear that they actually got to talk to you. And I can get it in less than 15 seconds. That means I'm going to get it right now. That's always, instant is always good, right? So that's a decent line. Other things that a lot of clients do is they will show a picture of a home that just sold. and they'll say this home just sold in 10% over asking price. I mean, you got to use factual information, right? This home sold, went into contract in 7 days. Click here to find out your own home value, right? That's a compelling thing. If I own a home and that thing sold for 10% over asking and I'm remotely interested, I might actually do that, right? So this is, you got to think about what is it that people are going to get to click this, because again, somebody said earlier, I've run ads but I've got no leads. And it really boils down to two things. Is this picture compelling? And is this language compelling? Or did I just copy and paste the default stuff out of listings to leads and think that that was going to work for me? So since I'm running it on the weekend, I actually think mobile is good, because mobile can mean iPads and tablets and stuff like that. I still am not a fan of the desktop column. I really don't even know how it's going to work on Instagram. Again, it's one of those things that you got to test. And Audience Network, I would recommend testing. Run the ad again at the end of the ad, at the end of the 4 days. It will tell you this is how many people it reached, and reached means how many people actually saw it, and this is how many clicked on it, right? And if they clicked on it, now you have a data point to think about, meaning 100 people clicked, but only 20 filled out the form, right? Then you can think, well, what can I get to get, what did I do? Is there some kind of language or something to get that number higher? Can I get more clicks, and can I get more people to fill it out once they click? So those are the things to think of. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Concerning comment, yes. What do you suggest we do with exclude? Can we exclude? Yeah, you can. You can exclude other agents. Actually, Scott put a post on that inside the mastermind group, I think yesterday. Just got here. Will this be posted for later viewing? Yes, Tom. I am recording this. I should have it up this afternoon in the mastermind group. Okay. So everybody, we ran 2 ads. This is a property valuation ad. And remember, we stay right in the town. We stay right in the zip code. We set that budget higher because we want more clicks on that. The first ad we ran was to build branding. We have the budget lower because we're really trying to get more people to see it, but we don't need as many clicks, but we need people to know that we are a realtor. Okay? And the kinds of tools that you're posting, let's go back to the landing page dashboard. These property valuation, empty nesters, all these are all designed to capture sellers, right? Go back to the listings page and make sure you do some ads, even if they're not your own listings, to say, hey, I am a realtor and I'm associated with homes that are coming soon or just listed or open houses or just sold or under contract. And make sure you run ads using the single property website or the listing landing page. Mix it up, right? Budweiser, I'm over here by San Francisco. Budweiser has a long-term contract at Giant Stadium. They change their signs every 6 months. No, I'm sorry, every 2 months. Because consumers walking in there looking on TV stop looking at them within 2 months. They can see it. I don't know how they can see it, but that's it. So don't run the same ad for 30 days and don't run the same ad over and over. Change up your look, change the pictures. Even if you're going to say, I'm only going to run ads on my one home, change the front picture. Maybe it's the kitchen this week. Maybe it's the living room next week. Maybe it's the backyard. Just make sure you're changing things up. So, yeah. Oh, thank you, Ellen. So everybody, now is a good time for questions. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up, get it online, and get it in our mastermind group. And I'm going to remind you, please log in and click this button here to join. And if you're not a member already, it's for free. There's a button over on the right that says click to join. And then when I see that, I go here and either myself or Scott can see. Oh, that's not it. We can see that you want to join that page, right? So we'll allow you in, and you can kind of keep an eye on what we're doing. So let's see here. Do you know a good place to get pictures? Great question. I actually have what I will say to you is this. I have a really good tutorial on how to get pictures. and it's actually one, it's on Facebook solely. It's almost like this call, but let's go through it again. Ellen, where are you trying to get pictures? What city? What is your um, what's your target market? Orange County. Okay, Orange County. Orange County. Got it. Okay. So there's a couple questions here. We are going a little bit long, but I'm happy to do it. Um, Let me answer the questions, and we'll get into that picture thing. Are borrowed listings automatically posted on our blog? Yes, Robert. Any listing that goes in gets automatically posted. You can log into the blog by clicking the blog page and then just deleting the post. I have showing we'll be able to access this later. Yes, Kay, this is going to be on our mastermind group this afternoon. I went to Pixabay, but so. Yeah, so there are pages, places where you can get pictures. This is how I recommend you get pictures. First of all, it's free, and second of all, it's easy. You originally, Ellen, put Orange County, and I don't recommend anybody use Facebook with a county. I don't recommend you do that. I always recommend you also put Irvine and Tustin. So I'm going to do Irvine, okay? And if you could, is there anything, like, is there a hot landmark in Irvine? And I'll wait here. I'll go kind of search on my own. But is there something that's really famous in Irvine? So I'm going to go right here to Irvine, California on Google. Beige houses. That does not sound, no, that doesn't sound like a selling point. But what I mean is there a downtown? Is there an old historical building? But I'm just doing Irvine, California. Click on images. We're on Google, okay? So let's just do it this way, and we won't look for anything more detailed. Click on search tools once you get your images, and click on size, and go to larger than 4 megapixels. It's right down here, okay? And this starts to bring up the photos that are big enough, okay? There's also something that says usage rights. Make sure it's labeled for reuse, okay? This means that I can use this stuff, right? Now, I don't know what this is. I know, pretty much, yeah. So, yeah, people buy here because of the schools. That's cool. I don't know if I'd run something like that, but this looks here like, well, that's Greater Los Angeles, so that's not really Irvine, so let's close that. But let's just say this picture here, right, is like, it's the picture you want. Click on View Image, and boy, that's weird. It just downloaded right there. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so that means it downloaded. So now I go back, and that's going to be big enough. So I'm going to go back to my page, and let's go over to landing pages. Sorry, I kind of got confused there. I'm going to click on landing pages. Find the landing page that you want. Again, I'm a fan of I'm going to click on Haiku, just because I don't have one. I don't think I did this before. Yeah. Click on upload background image. Choose file. I think on my computer it says download. And there's my picture. Upload it. And save and update. And that it'll just show you, once you do that, it'll kind of flip around. And that's the best way, in my mind. You can certainly go pay for these things, but and you might want to, because sometimes paid for photographs really look awesome, right? They look great, and you may not think it's that important, but if it looks good, and actually to me this looks great because it's gonna pop, right? I mean, you got to think of all the nonsense on Facebook. Or there was some cat on there. My friend was feeding her cat. What's going to stand out? I'll tell you, I set up the offices for listings to leads, right? And I set up Summit, a client in Summit, New Jersey, and in Summit, the office manager said our number one ad is the Summit Diner, right? And the Summit Diner in New Jersey, right? So let me show you a picture of the Summit Diner. Hopefully I can find it. Summit Diner in Summit, New Jersey. Okay. They run all kinds of ads, right? They run all kinds of ads because they got an office and they're running ads and they're teaching. This here is the picture that's getting the most clicks. It's an old converted railroad car, but it is key to Summit. This is on Main Street in Summit. It's a small town, and people just they know it. They know like, oh, that's right here in my neighborhood. This must be local and relevant to what I'm doing. And that's key to all marketing. Is it relevant? So you think of what it is that like everybody knows that they're going to go to, right? If you're targeting a certain neighborhood where all the schools are, do they all go to a local diner? Is there a fountain there? You know, one of those little ice cream shops? Anything that gets you comfortable is really what you got to think of. So this is a good time for the last questions, and I'm gonna wrap it up. That's the Irvine, yeah, spectrum. Okay, the Irvine spectrum. Okay, cool. So everybody, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. Um, and I am going to put this up on YouTube. I will put it in our mastermind group. Please join our mastermind group, and please join our mastermind group because we add lots of new tools all the time, and that's where we communicate the fastest with all of you. Okay, so thanks again, everybody. We appreciate the business, and just keep swinging. We'll keep adding more tools. Okay.